Question 1. Which Australian value allows individuals to express their opinions freely, as long as it does not break the law or incite hatred? A. Freedom of movement. B. Freedom of expression. C. Freedom of association. D. Freedom from responsibility. Answers is B. Freedom of expression. Freedom of expression is a fundamental Australian value, allowing individuals to voice their views respectfully within legal, without fear of government censorship. This freedom comes with ensuring it does not harm others or incite violence. Question 2. When did the six separate unite to form the Commonwealth of Australia, becoming an independent nation? A. 26 January 1788. B. 1 January 1901. C. 25 April 1915. D. 3 September 1939. Answers is B. 1 January 1901. On 1 January 1901, the six Australian federated to form the Commonwealth of Australia. This historic event marked the birth of Australia as a unified nation under its own constitution. Question 3. Who are recognised as the first inhabitants of Australia and its islands, with a continuous culture spanning over 65 years? A. Early European settlers. B. Chinese miners. C. Aboriginal and Strait Islander peoples. D. Polynesian explorers. Answers is C. Aboriginal and Strait Islander peoples. Aboriginal and Strait Islander peoples are the first Australians. Their cultures are the oldest living cultures in the world, having enriched the continent for tens of thousands of years. Question 4. What is the title of Australia's national anthem, officially adopted in 1984? A. Waltzing Matilda. B. I Still Call Australia Home. C. Advance Australia Fair. D. God Save the King. Answers is C. Advance Australia Fair. Advance Australia Fair became Australia's national anthem in 1984. It is sung at official and sporting events, celebrating the nation's progress and natural beauty. Question 5. What is a key responsibility for eligible Australian citizens concerning elections? A. To join a political party. B. To vote in federal and local government elections. C. To run for political office. D. To advise the Prime Minister. Answers is B. To vote in federal and local government elections. One of the most important of an Australian citizen is to vote in federal and local government elections. Voting is compulsory for all eligible citizens. Question 6. What is the national capital city of Australia, home to the Parliament House? A. Sydney. B. Melbourne. C. Canberra. D. Brisbane. Answers is C. Canberra. Canberra is the capital city of Australia, chosen as a compromise between the rival of Sydney and Melbourne. It is the seat of the Australian federal government. Question 7. Which Australian value ensures that everyone, including those in power, is subject to the same laws? A. Fair go. B. Mutual respect. C. Rule of law. D. Compassion. Answers is C. Rule of law. The rule of law is a cornerstone of Australian society, meaning that all people are equal before the law and no one is above it. This applies to citizens, police, and even government officials. Question 8. In which year did the first fleet arrive in Australia, establishing the first permanent European settlement? A. 1801. B. 1788, C. 1901, D. 1851. Answers is B. 1788. The First Fleet, commanded by Captain Arthur Phillip, in Botany Bay in January 1788, before moving to Sydney Cove, establishing the first British colony in Australia. Question 9. What important national day commemorates Australians and New Zealanders who served and died in all wars, conflicts and peacekeeping operations? A. Australia Day, B. Labour Day, C. Anzac Day, D. Queen's Birthday. Answers is C. Anzac Day. Anzac Day, observed on 25 April, commemorates the bravery and sacrifice of Australian and New Zealand soldiers who served their nations, particularly during the Gallipoli campaign in World War I. Question 10. How many levels of government operate in Australia to manage public services and laws for citizens? A. 1, B. 2, C. 3, D. 4. Answers is C. 3. Australia has 3 levels of government, federal and local. Each level has specific to serve the community. Question 11. Which constellation is represented by the 5 white stars on the right side of the Australian national flag? A. Orion, B. The Plough, C. Southern Cross, D. Big Dipper. Answers is C. Southern Cross. The Southern Cross, a prominent constellation visible in the Southern Hemisphere, is a distinctive feature of the Australian national flag, symbolising Australia's geographical location. Question 12. What is a primary responsibility of all Australian citizens to maintain order and safety in society? A. To always agree with government decisions. B. To pay taxes and obey Australian laws. C. To only speak English. D. To serve in the military. Answers is B. To pay taxes and obey Australian laws. All Australian citizens and residents have a responsibility to obey Australian laws, which are to ensure a fair and safe society for everyone. Paying taxes is also a civic duty. Question 13. What distinct cultural group lives on islands between mainland Australia and Papua New Guinea, with a unique heritage separate from Aboriginal peoples? A. Maori people, B. Melanesian Islanders, C. Strait Islander peoples, D. Pacific Islanders. Answers is C. Strait Islander peoples. Strait Islander peoples are Indigenous Australians with a distinct cultural identity, history and traditions that differ from those of Aboriginal peoples. There are in the Strait. Question 14. Which Australian value means that all people are treated fairly and have equal regardless of background? A. Individualism, B. Equality, C. Hierarchy, D. Tradition. Answers is B. Equality. Equality is a core Australian value, ensuring that every person is treated with fairness and respect, and has the same rights and in areas like education, employment and justice. Question 15. The discovery of gold in the significantly Australia's development by A. Decreasing population growth, B. Encouraging a large influx of immigrants from around the world, C. Halting economic expansion, D. Centralising population in agricultural areas. Answers is B. encouraging a large influx of immigrants from around the world. The gold rushes of the led to a dramatic increase in Australia's population and significant economic growth. It attracted people from many different, contributing to Australia's multicultural society. Question 16. What type of government does Australia have, combining a monarch as head of state with a democratically elected parliament? A. Republic. B. Absolute monarchy. C. Constitutional monarchy. D. Dictatorship. Answers is C. Constitutional monarchy. Australia operates as a constitutional monarchy. The King or Queen of Australia is the head of state, but their powers are limited by the Constitution, and governmental power rests with the elected Parliament. Question 17. What term describes Australia's diverse society, where people from many cultures live together peacefully and respect each other's backgrounds? A. Homogeneity. B. Isolationism. C. Multiculturalism. D. Uniformity. Answers is C. Multiculturalism. Multiculturalism is a key aspect of Australia's national identity. It is a policy that celebrates the cultural diversity of its population while promoting shared Australian values and social cohesion. Question 18. Which two native Australian animals feature prominently as supporters on the Australian coat of arms? A. Koala and kangaroo. B. Emu and wombat. C. Kangaroo and emu. D. Platypus and kookaburra. Answers is C. Kangaroo and emu. The kangaroo and the emu are the native animals featured on the Australian coat of arms. They were chosen because they are unique to Australia and reputedly do not take a backward step. Question 19. How many states and mainland constitute the Commonwealth of Australia? A. 5 states and 2. B. 6 states and 2. C. 7 states and 1 territory. D. 6 states and 3. Answers is B. 6 states and 2. Australia is comprised of 6 states: New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, Tasmania, and 2 major mainland Northern Territory, Australian Capital Territory. Question 20. What is the primary role of the Australian Parliament in Canberra? A. To directly appoint judges. B. To make and amend laws for the nation. C. To command the defence forces. D. To manage public hospitals and schools. Answers is B. To make and amend laws for the nation. The Australian Parliament, consisting of the House of and the Senate, is responsible for debating, making and amending laws for the entire country. Question 21. Showing consideration for the beliefs, opinions and cultures of others is an example of which Australian value? A. Conformity. B. Self-interest. C. Mutual respect. D. Hierarchy. Answers is C. Mutual respect. Mutual respect is a fundamental Australian value, encouraging individuals to understand and appreciate the diverse backgrounds, beliefs and opinions of others in the community. Question 22. What is the profound spiritual and cultural connection Aboriginal and Strait Islander peoples have with the land, sea and waterways? A. Ownership by deed. B. A commercial resource. C. Custodianship and spiritual belonging. D. A place for leisure. Answers is C. Custodianship and spiritual belonging. Aboriginal and Strait Islander peoples have a deep spiritual and cultural connection to the land, sea and waterways. viewing themselves as custodians responsible for its care and preservation, rather than owners in a Western sense. Question 23. Following World War, Australia mass immigration from many with the slogan populate or perish to A. Decrease economic growth, B. Develop a more diverse cultural landscape and strengthen the workforce, C. Reduce urban development, D. Isolate Australia from global affairs. Answers is B. Develop a more diverse cultural landscape and strengthen the workforce. After World War, Australia initiated a large-scale immigration program to increase its population and workforce, contributing significantly to its economic development and transforming it into one of the world's most multicultural nations. Question 24. Australia Day, celebrated on 26 January, marks the arrival of the First Fleet in 1788 and is a day to A. Commemorate military service, B. Reflect, celebrate diversity, acknowledge Indigenous heritage, C. Mark the signing of the Constitution, D. Honour war veterans only. Answers is B. Reflect, celebrate diversity, acknowledge Indigenous heritage. Australia Day, celebrated on 26 January, marks the arrival of the First Fleet. It is a day for all Australians to reflect on the nation's history, celebrate its diverse society and achievements, and acknowledge the rich Indigenous heritage.